we are going to start at yeah, it's about 9 now, so maybe we can wait for 2 minutes, then we will start. Yeah, okay.
Okay, boss.
So Assalamu Alikum again, and good morning to all participants. Thank you for joining us. Before we start, I think it's good for us. It's a blessing if we can start with Umul Kitab Al-Fatihah first. Okay, we still have participants coming in. So may I remind all participants to use your name if you can, and make sure you mute your microphone if not talking, because this would be able to help us to avoid any overlap voices. All right. So make sure check on your mute button. And perhaps if you want to turn on your video also is a good thing. All right. So let's start. Alhamdulillah, we are here today. MYSUN team welcome all of you to our campus sustainability online seminar 2 on sustainable campus, and with a focus on sustainability in education at UPM. This is organized by MYSUN together with the Center for Corporate Strategy and Relations, UPM. Well, consistent with the global aspiration regarding sustainability, we can see that the Malaysian government are very serious in keeping sustainable development goals in mind, and in particular to promote good energy and environmental practices. So one of the keys to achieving this is through education, and this is where we are. And by instilling these values in all levels, SDG values in all levels of the educational system, it is therefore pressing for us to support the development of sustainability in higher education campuses in Malaysia, particularly for our university, and even more to do so through a national platform like this one. We open this seminar to all who are interested to bring sustainability into the campus. MYSUN, MYSUN stands for Malaysia Sustainable University Network. We have organized series of seminars and events and activities related to sustainable campus. And today we bring you two young, beautiful, prominent speakers to share their insights. You will see how beautiful they are later on, okay, after this. And specifically sharing their insights focusing on sustainability in education at UPM. So thank you our speakers, Professor Engineer Dr. Aduwati Sali and Dr. Zakiah Ponrahono for being with us. Before we move on to the speaker session, maybe can you check your mute button again? Make sure that you mute your button. Okay. And I shall introduce MYSUN in a glance so that we share the same vision and objective as of MYSUN would want to achieve. And we welcome all professors, doctors here. And we have Prof. No Kamaria also with us, who is the leader of MYSUN team. So I shall share with you the slides. I'm not going to go through all these slides on MYSUN, but I'm going to go very briefly. So hang on. Let me share if I can. Okay. Right. So a brief overview on the project. As I mentioned, MYSUN is pretty much for campus network in sustainability. So it is a capacity building sponsored by Erasmus Plus, aims to promote the Malaysian University as the living lab for sustainability and energy efficiency. We are focusing particularly on education and also energy efficiency. So you can read there. The project is about 3 years. Yeah, it's 3 years, and we are in the 2nd year. And the MYSUN consortium consists of a number of universities in Malaysia, 8 partners and 4 European partners, which is in Genova, Johannium in Austria, and Alicante in Italy. Sorry, three European partners with 8 Malaysian universities there, as well as we have Ministry of Education on board. And this is the total amount given to us to spend, 945,000 euros. Okay, you can convert it to Malaysia ringgit, so we will get a few, just over a few million. Then these are the work packages that is included that must be completed in the project, and we have completed WP1, which is analysis of sustainable practices at university campus. We have a lot more to do by the end of 2022. And the purpose and objective of MYSUN is to strengthen the links between the higher education institution and also stakeholders with the policymakers. That's why we have a number of partners from universities and also government as of KPT, yeah, higher education, Ministry of Higher Education. And perhaps through this effort that we will build a network, MYSUN network, that will grow to be a platform, a national platform for all universities in Malaysia to work together with international universities to transform our campus into a more sustainable campus. So this is the team. Prof. Engineer TS Dr. Zakiah is the leader of the group. Prof. Aduwati Sali, Prof. Ahmad Zahrain, also here with us. He is the environmentalist. We are all environmentalists, but he is the core. His background is in environment. Me, myself, and also Associate Professor Dr. Fazlur Hisham Hashim, Dr. Nur Luqman Saleh, and Dr. Jun Teng Liu. Okay, this is. Please do visit our website and the FB. You can search FB page MYSUN and it will come up for more information. So I think that's about it. I shall stop there, and we shall move to our speakers. I shall introduce the speakers. The first speaker, who is Prof. Adu. Admin, Luqman, can you show the slides of Prof. Adu's biodata? I'm not going to read all of them because it's super impressive. So you can see it for yourself. So maybe Luqman, you want to share the slides? Okay. All right. Here it is. All right. Go down to her biodata. So Prof. Aduwati Sali is a professor at the Department of Computer Communication Systems Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, the same department as I am. And you can see there, I'm not going to read all, but she has got education, her education from the United Kingdom, and also an alumni of UPM. I'm going to point out that she has been awarded the Young Scientist Network Academy of Sciences Malaysia, and also the chair for ComSoc VTS, and also what else? So many awards that you can see there. Top Research Scientist Malaysia in 2018, and also the finalist of Study UK Alumni and Award 2020-2021. And she also has got experience working with University of Cyprus for under EU Horizon 2020 RISE project. The title of her sharing is on IoT for Mangrove Ecosystem, a case study for engineers and society. Prof. Aduwati, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Elni and Dr. Uman for the nice introduction. Let me just share my slides. So basically, I'm just gonna make a sharing session. Sharing session. It is not the best practice. I will not say that it is a best practice, but more like a sharing session of what we did just last semester for the course of ECV 3011, Engineers and Society, and then how we did a case study for the IoT for mangrove ecosystem as our community project. So this presentation this project is co-funded by Meta, which is another international grant that we obtained from UPM, from EU under TN Asia Connect project. So it is led by Dr. Natra from Faculty of Agriculture, but it is also a collaboration among multidisciplinary members, especially from the engineering. We are looking into the IoT. We have from mangrove, biodiversity ecosystem, and we even have from robotics as well as water management. So it is a multidisciplinary project. And also MYSUN, as what Prof. Aliani has presented just now, another EU grant that we obtained, Alhamdulillah, under Erasmus Plus, and it is on promoting sustainable campus in Malaysia, living as living laboratories. So we have UPM, UTM, and we have like 9 other universities in Malaysia involved in this MYSUN project. So it is more like a national level project that we want to transform our universities, our campuses to be a sustainable campus. So how do we make it a sustainable? So this is what we are looking for. We have been having series of workshops and trainings. So this is the second replication seminar, we call it replication seminar. So I hope that I can share my experience, but definitely not best practice. Probably Prof. Aliani and Dr. Zakiah have more experience than me. So my name is Aduwati Sali from NET and Department of Computer and Communication Systems Engineering, Faculty of Engineering. So basically what I'm gonna share in this brief presentation. Before that, I have my students with me. So welcome. We have third year students at the Computer and Communication Systems Engineering. So make sure you guys sign in your attendance. And they are taking a course with me on engineering project management. So basically this is also for you to familiarize yourself with how to manage project. So the presentation will be on the issues of sustainability with engineering practice, because before I was involved with MYSUN, I don't know what sustainable campus means. I have no idea about it. It is such a big term. I couldn't put a scope to it, being an engineer myself. But over the years, when we have sustainability as one of our, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Prof. Eleni, as one of our EAC and PO's requirement or attainment, then we know that how we can inculcate sustainability in our courses, in our teaching and learning, and not just only for our research and innovation, but also in our teaching and learning. This is where we can really bridge between the two, and we don't separate teaching and learning different from R&D. RDCI, because we want our staff, or our students, to be benefiting from our research. And also about ethical duties of engineers and society. Because when we talk about engineering, sometimes we put ethics and moral probably towards the end, because we see things quite objectively in engineering. But eventually, it is the people that's going to adopt our product, our services, our solution. So we have to observe these ethics and moral values. And then finally, the students and me, we carried out the activities with the society, and some of the challenges that I would like to share with all of you. So I was assigned to teach this engineers and society last semester. So this is the course synopsis and the learning outcome. So it was quite a challenge for me because I was also always involved in technical courses, but when I was assigned engineers and society for the first time last year, now I've been cracking my head. How am I supposed to carry out the course? Yeah, especially to correlate issues on this environment, socioeconomic sustainability with sound engineering practice, ethics, and then how are we going to apply this knowledge to carry out activities with the community? So eventually, it will go back to the community. What are we going to solve? How are we going to solve the problems of our society? How are we going to make our community benefit from our knowledge? Yeah, you have the knowledge of engineering and, for example, wireless communications, IoT, space engineering, whatever. But how is the normal people can benefit from your knowledge? So after much deliberation, and it so happens that this Meta project by Dr. Natra, she came over and she asked me, Kak Adu, she just called me Kak Adu, would you like to join this project on IoT for mangrove ecosystem? And it happens to be that I had some previous experience on IoT deployment for environmental monitoring. And then Dr. Natra said that this one is meant for workshop, for training. So I guess that this is the best time for me to use the project as the baseline of my engineers and society course. So what we did is we find out which mangrove community will be benefiting from this IoT for mangrove ecosystem. And this is the best community that we can find, Sijangkang. It is near Banting, yeah, near Banting and Klang, that area. And then we propose how IoT modules helped manage the mangrove ecosystem, because the course is only one semester, 14 weeks. The students couldn't develop IoT by themselves. So I get a vendor, because the project have some allocation for IoT deployment in real environment. So we engage with a vendor, but the students has to come up with an IoT module to teach Form 4 students. And you know, being an engineer, sometimes we don't know what's the difference between mangrove and peatland. One is paya bakau, the other one is paya gambut in Malay. And even I didn't know the difference between the two. So eventually, when we get involved with the project, and then we talk with the experts, with the local committee, and then we know that, oh, okay, mangrove is at the coastal area, but peatland or paya gambut is in the mainland. Yeah, so there are actually vast difference between the two. But for normal people, it seems like the same thing. Okay, and then the students, they were final year students of our program, Computer and Communication Systems Engineering. They have to develop IoT modules, modules on IoT for mangrove ecosystem, and their audience will be Form 4 students of one school. So that is their challenge, or that is their task. And then they have to conduct the training. And initially we wanted it to be face-to-face, because we know the challenges when we do it in online webinar. So we plan for it for face-to-face, but eventually when the MCO happened, then we have to switch at the very last minute. So I'll tell you about that challenge after that. And then the ultimate aim is to assess the STEM understanding among Form 4 students, because we know STEM intake in Malaysia, it has to be increased if we want to be a developed nation. So for the students, there are around 47 students taking this course, Engineers and Society. So I group them into eight groups, and each of them will propose IoT modules for the Form 4 students. So first, they have to touch and feel the mangrove forest. Some of them never been to a mangrove forest before. They have never known about paya bakau or mangrove. So I guess I have to expose them to this, because otherwise, how can they develop a training module if they don't know anything about mangrove? So we visited the area in Paya Bakau community, Taman Rekreasi Paya Bakau, Kampung Sijangkang, and we met with the NGO, the recreational coordinator, Encik Fazrin. So Encik Fazrin is one of the best example of young people. They were working in the urban areas before, in the city before, but they came back. They came back to their village because they want to help the community. And you know what? This area previously was a drive-through dumping site. So you can imagine that people just drive through and then just dump whatever rubbish that they have. in that area, because it seems to be like the end of the village, no one will notice, and etc. But Encik Fazrin and his team has been clearing the area and even converted that into a very nice recreational park. So if you can see, it's very clean. Everything was developed by the local community. They developed their own the huts here. Yeah, the wakaf that you can see here, they built it their own using the mangrove trees batang tu. Oh, Dr. Zakiah, the trunk of the mangrove trees. So they did it by themselves. And of course, they've been very active engaging with the NGOs, with relevant authorities, and some companies came over for CSR. So it has been very nice. So I would like to invite you to go to this place in Sejangkang, so that you can appreciate how they have been converting an illegal dumping site to a beautiful recreational park, yeah, for mangrove ecosystem. And we also invite Encik Shamri. Mr. Shamri is from Loranet, who is our vendor in deploying the IoT system in this area. So what is the current problem in this mangrove forest? Yeah, when we asked Encik Fazrin and the villagers there, they said that sometimes when it is high tide, of course, through experience, they can estimate, they can expect when the high tide going to happen. But if we could, you know, like put a sensor that can monitor the rise of the seawater or the water level, then that will be good. So we look into that, IoT to monitor the water level. And then some of them were saying about the growth of the mangrove trees, because when we replant the area, we rehab the area, some of the companies came over for CSR programs to replant mangrove trees. Yeah, so if we could monitor the growth of the mangrove trees, so we also put that sensors to observe the height of the mangrove trees. Yeah, so that it will reflect the growth. And they are also asking if we could monitor the wildlife there. Not much of a wildlife, like all these crabs. Beautiful crabs with one big arms in yellow, in orange, and another small arms, and they've been, you know, giving the area a very cheerful environment. So if we could also monitor the wildlife, so there are three kinds of main sensors that we have there. One is in terms of the water level, the second one is in terms of mangrove trees growth, and the third one is on the wildlife. So the third one, normally we use a camera. So what we did is we collaborated with Loranet, and then we deploy the sensors there for the local community to observe. So they don't have to go there every day to observe. And sometimes we can also give the access to the public, yeah, to the public, or to the, for example, if this is under Jabatan Perhutanan, yeah, Jabatan Perhutanan Forestry Department. Sorry, somebody's talking. Anyway, yeah, so these are my students when we went there last semester. So we really enjoyed ourselves. Some of them, they said that this is the first time they went to a mangrove forest in their life. Okay. So this is when we have the IoT system deployed in the area. So Loranet, which is our vendor, we have deployed this LoRa gateway. So you can see LoRa gateway here been deployed, and this is the weather station. Of course, when we have the sensors on the ground, yeah, when we monitor the water level, the mangrove trees growth, and etc., we always have to correlate with the weather, yeah, about the rain, about the rainfall, about the temperature. So we have both weather station on top here. It is actually a lamppost, you know. So this lamppost is also becoming a pole for the LoRa gateway, yeah, and also for our solar panel and power system. And these are the water level sensors, yeah, that we deployed strapped onto one of the mangrove tree. This is the pole at the entrance. So if you go there, you can see this particular LoRa gateway with the antenna. So you will never miss it. Okay, so you can see how this LoRa is deployed. So basically, LoRa is a wireless access technology. It's free, so it will give you a very cost-effective IoT deployment, especially in the rural area like this. So when it is in the rural area, we use LoRa. So this sensor is the LoRa transmitter. Yeah, it will send data to this LoRa antenna or LoRa gateway here. LoRa gateway here will behave like a receiver. So it receives the signal. It receives all the data from these sensors to this LoRa gateway. And then here it will push to the internet, just like a normal transmission when you are using your mobile phone. So inside here, we also have a data logger and a SIM card so that you can access it anywhere in the world as long as you have internet. So we can see here the location of the sensors and this one. So when the students have seen the deployment of the IoT ecosystem, so they will have some ideas on how exactly they are going to teach or to train the Form 4 students. So we choose this Sekolah Menengah Alamin Bangi, in Bangi for the Form 4 students as the audience. And these engineers and society students, the UPM students, they have to come up with all this process in developing the training module, the objectives, the LO, the methodology and delivery. How are they going to assess that the Form 4 students have indeed appreciate or increase their awareness in STEM? Because these students, these Form 4 students, they come up from all streams, not necessarily in science streams, but there are also some of them in social sciences stream. Yeah, and finally, the students, the UPM students, have to report this project. So this is the development of the training module. Yeah, and on the day itself, we have come up with 19th of June on a Saturday, 11 to 12 for the students, for the UPM students to give a training for the Form 4 students in week 12 last semester. So they have been preparing this for like 12 weeks, almost 3 months in developing the IoT module to give a 1-hour session for the Form 4 students. So it is very rich content, yeah. So you can view these webinars that have been conducted by the 8 groups, and they even come up with posters. So especially to my year 3 students, so these are the work of your super seniors. They have graduated, they have just recently graduated. So they come up with all the concepts around the area of IoT for mangrove ecosystem. Yes, some of them were introducing in the concept of sensors, in wireless communication. Some of them is looking into the website development, because eventually you want to make sure that the mangrove data is being displayed. Yeah, for example, in a dashboard or something that can be visualized by the public. So you can see some of them is looking into the arts, yeah, IoT and arts, and etc. So these are the 8 groups. So initially we planned everything to be face-to-face, because at that time in April we can still move around, yeah. But eventually, bam, on the 6th of May, then we have this PKP. We have the MCO specifically in Selangor, 6 districts in Selangor, including Kajang, Hulu Langat, yeah. We are in Hulu Langat. The school is in Hulu Langat. This is the school, the Sekolah Menengah Alamin Bangi. So we have to change everything from being having a training face-to-face with the students. So they've been planning for bringing in examples of mangrove tree leaves. They were planning to give like how the water level increases. You know, it really breaks my heart when suddenly we have to change everything to webinars. But you know, we have to abide by the rules, and especially the health, safety and health of the students. So I have to email the school, yeah, and you can see here the school pengetua reply back, and then they say that, oh, nothing we can do. We even went there for a site visit to identify which classes is suitable. I went there with Cik Aisha. I don't know whether Aisha is around or not today. So just a day before, but eventually we have to scrap off the idea when convert everything into an online session. So that is the main challenge. Yeah, it is a challenge, but eventually we have to go about it. So the students have to make a webinar instead, a 1-hour webinar. And it was meant for a Saturday because the school has packed schedule during the weekdays. They have PDPR, or what we call today as the ODL, online digital learning. So the school said that, I'm sorry, Prof, can you do it on a Saturday, because the school is really full Monday to Friday, 8 to 4 even, because it is a private school. They finish at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is another challenge because it is a weekend and another online session for the students, for the Form 4 students. But we thrive through. We strive through. There are students who came over and joined, and we had a good time giving webinars with the students. And you can find the recorded videos here, yeah. So you can see my students, they are still enjoying themselves, even they have to change everything 180 degree from physical to webinars. So this is just one example from one of the groups, how they come up with a website development. So they teach the Form 4 students how to connect the sensors to give data and display it on a simple website development. So finally, when everything is completed, we give a certificate of appreciation to our UPM students as facilitator, to the Form 4 students as participants, and also to the school for facilitating or for allowing us to give this training to their students. So it has been a very interesting project, a collaboration between academia, industry, community, schools, and also it doesn't stop there. The project is still ongoing. Meta project is still ongoing, and we also come up with this dashboard to show, yeah, you can also access this anywhere, yeah, and anytime. So you can see how we display the temperature versus humidity, yeah, and then radiation, but also we are including more data in terms of water level, mangrove trees growth, and etc. So it is still under development for the dashboard development. And then we also have a website to promote our activities. Yeah, so you can go to this link if you want to see it. So I think that is all. It is an eye-opening for me basically, because IoT normally we just put it standalone. We just teach our students. At least for me, we teach our students in class and maybe in lab. But now when they are going outside, when they are interacting with IoT developer, with the local community, what is the problem now, and they relay their knowledge to Form 4 students who could be their little sisters or little brothers. So I think that they really had a great time, especially in relaying their knowledge, because when they are in their final year, they have to understand that their knowledge is not only for technical knowledge. I'm sorry, it's so noisy here. It is not only just technical knowledge for you to go to work, but eventually you have to think of the community and how you can benefit the community from your knowledge. Okay, I think that is all, Prof. Aleni. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Aduwati, for a very nice pictures and presentations there. You can see that Prof. Aduwati has embedded research-based teaching, community-based learning, service learning, Sulam. Yeah, so all in one, because this is very important for us to deliver the course in a more effective way by involving them with the communities and stakeholders. What is most interesting is that the students actually developed the training modules for other students. So they, in order for them to learn, they teach others. This is very interesting way of delivering the course to the students. So I would like to open the question and answer session for Prof. Aduwati. If any of you has got any questions or any opinion perhaps, so please feel free to unmute and share with us. By the way, I would like to remind you to fill up the attendance form using the links given in the chat box. So check out your chat box. The message is from Dr. Nur Lokman, giving you the links to fill up the attendance, and the certificate will be delivered to you to your email immediately after you fill in the form. Make sure you do not miss that. And I go back to the question and answer session. Any of you?
Assalamu Alikum.
Salam, Dr. Zaki.
Ya, baik ya, Dr.
Colleague here.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Zaki, silakan.
Dr. Aduwati, very interesting, very exciting project. This is something that we should look for, engaging the community, and in the process, students learns issues yang at the sites, how to engage with community, and I think it's a wholesome learning. Very good, well done, Dr. Aduwati. My question is, after this project, after the course, apa dia punya, how do you maintain the continuity, the kesinambungan of the project? How the community is handling the project, and what are the future prospects of this project? Because I think it's such an important project.
Yeah, we are lucky because the Meta project is still ongoing. So we have the funding, and now we are going for the next phase or the second phase of the IoT deployment. So that is the first thing lah. And we have been engaging with Encik Fazrin, the coordinator of the local community there in Sijangkang. So we have been asking them on where exactly to put the sensors, because sometimes when we put the sensors not in a good place, and that it disturbs the ecosystem. Sometimes orang kampung kan dia tak nak macam we just put anywhere we want. So we have been engaging with them, especially in the deployment of the IoT system, on where to put and where exactly is to be measured. And we are also looking into the IoT deployment with the current students that I'm teaching. So I've been using Meta as and also my son as the backbone of my teaching now. The current students in year 3, they will be developing apa benda Qayyum IoT challenge, hackathon IoT challenge for mangrove ecosystem. But now they are going to use IoT and robotics for ecosystem. So there are grouped in people of engineering and non-engineering background, because if you don't talk to the subject matter experts, if you don't talk to people from mangrove, you wouldn't understand the problem statement. So that is the plan lah.
So my question is, nanti once the project the fund ended, what are the initiative for the community to take care of the mangroves, or to maintain the mangrove? Apa dia punya plan, ya?
The local community have been very self-sustained in the beginning. They have been developing the area since more than 5 years already. Yeah, but they always welcome when the universities or companies, industries come over to collaborate with them. So we have been asking them if we could help them in any way. And in fact, the area is been suggested to us by Faculty of Agriculture, by Prof. Apa nama Alia dulu Kate punya director tu? Allah Akbar, I'm really forgetful now.
Prof Mutaharah kah?
Prof Buta. So the communication or the engagement between UPM and Sijangkang Mangrove Forest has been ongoing for so long. So I just happened to be in just recently. Yeah, so I hope that UPM ourselves can always collaborate with Sijangkang, not only when there is fun, of course, like what you mentioned just now, Dr. Zaki, but also when there is no fun. Yeah, we can always find ways to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adu.
Okay. Okay, Prof. Alia. Mana Alia pilih? Oh, Alia. Qayyum or your colleagues, would you like to ask anything? You guys have to come up with
Prof. Alia's internet is disconnected. Yeah, sorry. She'll be back. Yeah, I'll take over for a while.
Okay.
This is Noka Maria. I will take over for a while.
Oh, it's a little bit dark, Prof.
Back.
Okay, can baru nampak.
Sorry?
That okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, any other questions for Prof. Aduwati?
Yeah, for my students especially if you want to ask questions. Yeah, Qayyum, I think you have to unmute yourself. We couldn't hear you.
Are you saying something, Qayyum?
Tak dengar.
We couldn't hear you, even though you are unmute, but we couldn't hear you. Sorry. Unless you want to put on the chat. On the chat.
Koyum is our
Okay.
year 3 students, Prof. No.
Yeah. Is there
Okay, boleh kot.
anyone else?
Okay, can you try, Koyum, if you want to ask?
Boleh Koyum?
Oh, tak dengar. No,
No, we couldn't hear you, Koyum. I'm sorry.
couldn't hear you.
I don't understand why. Yeah. There's no other comment?
Koyum, you
put
can
it
just
in
write.
the chat.
Yeah,
We can look
questions in
at
the
it
chat,
later. I'm still waiting for Aliani to come back.
Or we can start with Dr. Zakiah, maybe?
Murph is doing his job.
Boleh
So
sambung
if
with Dr.
there's,
Zakiah kot, Prof. No?
oh yeah, I think we should. But don't have her bio unless somebody
Oh,
going to.
okay, yeah.
Prof, no,
Alias
I
back.
have it.
Alhamdulillah.
Sorry, Prof. No, as I am all.
All right.
This
Okay. Back to you.
Okay. Sorry for that. I hope it won't happen again. So we will try our best. Okay, thank you, Prof. Aduwati and all. And we shall continue to the next speaker. Okay, Dr.
We'll
Zakiah.
continue with Zakiah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Everybody, can you hear me? Boleh Tengok
Yes,
tak?
Prof. Yes.
Okay, alright. Okay. I think Prof. Aduwati, she needs to go somewhere. She has another meeting. Maybe she will join later on if she has completed her task. Or
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Alright. Thank you, Prof. Aduwati. So we shall move on to Dr. Zakiah Ponrahono.
You are like breaking and
so maybe Prof. No can read her. Can introduce Dr. Zakiah. Is it okay now for me? Is it breaking? Is it still breaking, or is it okay? Let me know. Breaking Breaking
Prof, Alan is okay now for me.
It's okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just proceed. Let me know if it's breaking again. Because I think the line is not that good. Because we only have a few bars. All right, we shall proceed then. Regardless, I'm introducing Dr. Zakiah to you. GS Dr. Zakiah Ponrahono from the Department of Environment, Faculty of Forestry and Environment, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Dr. Zakiah is now the senior lecturer at the Department of Environment at the faculty, and she actually obtained her PhD in IIUM from IIUM, and also have worked closely with IIUM before, and she is also an experienced town planner with a certain some experience as consultants at a number of places. So we have the right person to talk to share with us on the designing a global adaptive environmental curriculum. All right, so let's welcome Dr. Zakiah.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Aliani, for introducing me well. First, let me share my screen first. Okay. All right. Okay. Assalamu Alikum and very good morning to everyone. Thank you for still up with us up to now. And actually, I was amazed with a very sharp and great sharing delivered by Prof. Aduwati just now on the IoT in mangrove study. So now it is my turn to share some insight on how the Department of Environment, UPM, designing a global adaptive environmental curriculum. Hopefully this sharing can at least do justice to meet the aspiration of my son in conducting this event today. Okay. All right. My presentation direction today is very straightforward, that hopefully it is a small step taken at time in innovating the curriculum design and delivery of environmental studies that globally adaptive. Okay. Taking the vibe of teaching and learning environment together with our moderator is previously with Kate. So this presentation is set to at least able to make everyone who are here today to understand the environmental studies curriculum structure in UPM and obtain some ideas on how to map their designated courses with SDG 17. So today my case study is on the environmental studies courses in UPM. Right. Before we go further on some key elements of what is actually the core of global adaptive curriculum design, let me share with you on some facts and figures pertaining to the overview of the program in our department. Right. As the program provider in environmental education of higher education, our aim is that at the end of the program, we are able to produce a competent graduates who are actually ready to actively and also effectively contribute to the environment and also the society. By setting a very clear direction of what is the main output of our designated program, we will be able to draw the framework and strategic approach on what to do, how to do, and when to do. Okay. So this one is a some fact on about how the department was established. It is quite interesting. We actually started from small unit under the umbrella of Faculty of Science in 1976 as the Department of Environmental Science with one undergraduate program. Later, we introduced a Master by Coursework program known as a Master of Environment under Maskuta unit in 1997. And of course, we are very thankful to our great professors who are determined and having a forward thinking on how the environmental education should evolve and grow. With their efforts and also great ideas, the Faculty of Environmental Studies was established in 2004 to offer environmental studies program under 2 departments. After 16 years as one faculty offering the program, we are merged with Faculty of Forestry to be in line with the new direction and aspiration of the university, and form a new faculty, namely as a Faculty of Forestry and Environment in 2020. Throughout this merging, our entity now is known as the Department of Environment, combining the 2 previous departments into single environmental studies program provider in UPM. We are actually young by name, but wise and mature in terms of heart and soul. Okay, hopefully. Right. A little bit overview on the history of the program development. Again, I believe this is where we should be thankful to our pioneer in environmental studies in UPM. Without them, we as the younger generation could not have the right space and platform to grow and also expand in this field. Starting as the first in Southeast Asia to offer the field of environmental studies in 1979, a new program of Bachelor of Science Environment and Bachelor of Environmental Management were offered in 2006 after the 2 years of Faculty of Environmental Studies was established. The first curriculum rewriting was required by MQA in 2010. Then in 2011, we was audited by COPA, followed by the first curriculum structure review in 2015. Another audit COPA was held in 2017, and we are actually continue to grow and evolve with the success of international recognitions, where we are accredited by Institute of Environmental Science UK in 2019. A year before we merged with Faculty of Forestry in 2020. And together in 2020, we have our second review of curriculum. And the undergraduate program now is known as a Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology with Honours and Bachelor of Environmental Management of Honours. Meanwhile, our Master by Coursework program currently is under the process of review. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why, but my slide cannot be in a slide. Okay. Right. All the three, okay, it happened again. Wait. All the three programs under our department are internationally recognized and accredited with IES as the first university in Malaysia, first in Southeast Asia, and fourth in Asia. The Committee of Heads of Environmental Science, or CHAIRS, is actually the education committee of the Institute of Environmental Science IES UK, providing a professional accreditation scheme for honors and master programs in higher education and also further education institution. Students enrolled on these IES accredited programs can apply for free student membership of the institution. So our first batch of students who are actually automatically awarded as an associate members of IES was the graduates in year 2021. And this batch of students has the benefit to grow and develop their international professional career through this membership. And this is actually some of introduction or indication on how our program was designed in such adaptive to global needs and also requirement. We received the accreditation for 5 years, and of course we need to submit our document to renew the accreditation in 2024. Among other prominent and reputed universities that also accredited with CHAIRS are University of Nottingham, UK, the University of Sheffield, and few other more. Okay. Now we move to the gist or the key of the topic that we would like to discuss today is on what is actually some key elements in determining a global adaptive environmental education curriculum. There are so many significant elements might be suitable or important to a different field of study. But for our environmental educations, these key three elements actually can draw a strong foundation of establishing a global adaptive program. The first one is on the inclusiveness. This key element will enable us to ensure that the program structure can produce a professional talent as a workforce that able to contribute to the resilience of social ecological system around the environmental field. The inclusive element of curriculum design that taking care of the diversity in the environmental field will enable this talent to address complexity, uncertainty, and changing nature of social ecological system itself. The second significant element is on the universal. The curriculums that universal in the sense of how adaptive the knowledge, the theory, and the skill instilled to the co-management practices can be as the key of determining the global adaptive environmental education curriculum to be achieved. Hence, it also will contribute to the transferability of ideas across the disciplines. And finally, last but not least, it can be evolved, it can be added later on. Our curriculum should be reflective in the sense that how our curriculum can be responsive to the climate changes is actually another important element in ensuring that our curriculum is global adaptive. And at the end of it should be able to produce an environmental citizens that adaptive to the geo setting and of course the locality of the profile in problem solving and also the decisions making process. Okay. Again, it happened again. I don't know why. Okay. Next one. To ensure that the curriculum design is feasible in, of course, in line with the global needs and also requirements, it should at least covering the 5 significant core competencies or skills area. It should has a strong common foundation of knowledge and theory that is a very universal core grounded in natural and also natural science and also environmental management. This will ensure that the talent we produce able to critically evaluate environmental issues and problems regardless where they are offered the service and how they perceive in terms of the situation they face. Not only that, the program also should emphasize on the skill of solution-focused approach, where the talent we produce be able to adapt with the geo-setting of complex environmental socio-ecosystem. The course of the program also must able to cater the development of system thinking skill where the flexibility, dynamic, and also talent approach are adaptive with the constant evolve of environmental fields so that the talent we produce from the program able to address the related emerging issues. Another skill area is analytical skills that emphasize on the science and technical approach of decision-making process as another important core competencies and skill that must be instilled in the overall structure of the environmental education program. Apart from that, strategic approach or skill and knowledge will equip our future environmental talent to be diverse in adapting with the global future direction, agenda, and also projection. Okay. So in our department, currently we offer 2 undergraduate programs, 1 master by coursework and PhD and master science with full research. So this is our programs. We have Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology with honors, Bachelor of Environmental Management with honors, PhD and Master by Research, and of course, Master of Environment by coursework. Right? The diversity and range of environmental studies and field in our department covering the environmental system and modeling, conservation, planning and management, as well as covering the ecosystem studies, ethics, policy and governance, pollution control technology, and the discovery of the new area are slowly integrated and incorporated as our core discipline in environmental studies. This including a new approach in advanced technology of IoT and so on. Okay. The next one is as usual steps and procedures that every programs in Malaysia university need to fulfill. Our program development also take into considerations on the quality assurance requirement, related policies and standard on national education agenda to ensure the program structure is actually adaptive to global change and also evolution. The curriculum design also emphasize on the recent policy and standard of environmental quality, including the national and also global agendas such as SDG 17. Okay, besides that, all possible feedbacks from the potential employer, market survey, alumni, and other stakeholders also considered to be referred in formulating the holistic concept of the environmental education structure. All this consideration is actually helping in meeting the international accreditation requirement of the program. Okay. So this is a holistic concept of the program that extracted from the recent curriculum structure of Bachelor of Environmental Management program. So basically, the curriculum structure is divided into 5 parts based on the structure of rocket, as you can see, the analogy of the rocket. Where you can see that in the base or in the launcher is where all the theories and the basic knowledge are strengthened to prepare the student before they can master the skills and technical aspect for them to have their strong wings or thrusters. From that level, the elements or level of courses will increase with the aim to expose the student with the situation they need to face in real issues and problems. In this stage, the body was built to prepare them with implementation skills. Here we strengthen the professionalism aspect through the integration of knowledge, theory and skill, such as by focusing on courses like final year project, internship, where real exposure and students are required to implement all the skills and knowledge that they obtain through 4 years program and achieve their final destination as a graduate environmental student. Additionally, the focus on the soft skills development also added throughout the 4 years program as the driver or guide before they can enter to the market as a competent environmental workforce. Okay, so now we move on how actually we try to meet or to align with SDG 17 mapping. So here we share some exercise that we do in SDG mapping exercise with our courses as a global adaptive environmental curriculum. Okay. So this one is on the Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology program. We identified one core subject, ESC 3016, Sustainability, Ethics and Environmental Issue. And we designed it to be matched with all the SDG 17 goals. We designed a specific course in this program to be in line with the global agenda, with the aspiration to ensure that our curriculum is globally adaptive and relevant with the future needs. And we are actually preparing the future-proof talent that can meet the global requirement. Okay. Not only that, in this program, the interdisciplines and cross-disciplines are incorporated to ensure that all programs offered are complementing each other in way to contribute towards the achievement of the global goals directly and indirectly. Okay. Now I move to for Bachelor of Environmental Management, how we do the mapping exercise. And from the mapping exercise, we figure out that most of the course content are in line with more than one SDG, right? This is how we do. So as example here, we come up with the 2 courses on sustainability and society and environmental change and current issue that covering and match with all the 17 SDG goals, where we incorporate the course content and the subtopics as the one main topics or one core or elective courses. Basically, to guide us in implementing the idea in designing global adaptive curriculum design, we can map the courses based on the learning outcomes or the subtopics that we incorporate into the course, right? And this is same goes to our master by coursework program. We map the course content and also the course the learning outcomes with the SDG 17. So here, as you can see, one of the core course content of men and sustainable development is matched to all 17 SDG goals. So by exercising this mapping approach, we as a program provider can ensure that our courses and curriculum structure is in line with the national and also global agenda. This also will ensure that the talent we produce are ready to contribute and become a well-versed environmental citizens. Okay. All right. This is some of living proof on how our curriculum structure actually able to produce young talent who are ready to enter the market as professional with the system thinking value. They are able to be flexible, dynamic, and tailored in adapting with the current needs and also situation. One of them was recognized internationally and with Queen's Young Leaders Award in 2018 with her effort to protect the environment, where the project is actually initiated based on her final year project. Meanwhile, another student recently received a community grant by Kind Starfish Foundation to run his environmental project under the Project Happiness 2021 in his 3rd year of study program. Okay. So the teaching delivery and the learning process acquired by the student in our program are basically based on the analytic skill, where science and technical approach of decision-making process is among the core element instilled in the course content and also design. Here you can see we bring students to the real situation with real case studies for them to experience and implement all the technical and theoretical knowledge they obtain in the classroom. We start as early in year 1 with the introduction level and continue to higher level until the semester 7 of the programs. This exposure will prepare the students to be ready with the independent study approach during their final year project. And then not only that, the strong foundation in environmental field will enable students to creatively and critically evaluate and able to decide in designing adaptive program related to environmental awareness and so on. So actually in our program, we encourage our students to interpret their understanding through the management, to organizing the awareness program or outreach program as a part of informal or outdoor class activities and approach. And the last one, last but not least, not last, okay, the next one is on the emphasis on the strategic thinking skill areas and action. Many projects and programs were organized and designed by the student to adapt with the global future direction, agenda, and also projection. This is some of the example on informal education and outdoor classroom approach in teaching and learning of environmental studies. This will prepare the student to be competent and of course well-versed environmental citizen for the future, right? And the next one is last but not least, as early at year 2 of the program, students were exposed to real environmental issue to master their skills and technical implementation in a problem solving. Fieldwork education approach in environmental study will expose the student to be adaptive with the geosetting of the environmental socio-ecosystem that is a very complex and unique for different locality profile. Here are some examples of flagship programs that incorporated in the teaching and learning in our education program, where partnership with the committee and other stakeholders take place in solving the local issues. I think I'm reaching to my final slide of this sharing session. Here I would like to emphasize again, in designing a global adaptive environmental curriculum that will inline with national or global agenda like SDG 17, we must look into how we embed these 3 key elements, for example, on the universal, inclusive, and reflective to structure our program and design our holistic concept of the curriculum. And this can be strengthened by ensuring that our program structure and curriculum design emphasize also on the core competency or skill. In the case of environmental studies in UPM, in our program, we focus more on these 5 areas, which is on the common foundation knowledge and theory, problem solver, system thinking, analytic skill, and also strategic area. Of course, we embed into the requirement made by the KPT, like to meet the LO, the PEO, and so on. We take into consideration, but of course, environmental is very diverse, and it should be not limited to a certain area only. So we need to ensure that the design of the curriculum can produce a talent that can be in anywhere to solve any issue related to environment, and of course being adapted to the evolutions or to the changes of the climate and so on. I think that's all for my sharing. on designing a global adaptive environmental curriculum design. Thank you for listening. I must say that I actually representing the departments, not from my side, and most of the materials today is actually from the team works, meaning it is taken from one subject to another, and of course some of the mapping involve so many people behind it to do the mapping, to design the courses and so on. Again, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy. Sorry for any shortcomings or weaknesses in my presentation. And I hope we learn something from this sharing. And I think I pass back the screen to our respective moderator, Prof. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Zakiah. That is actually a flawless presentation with very nice slides that you have prepared there. Very interesting to see that how the curriculum has been structured so well. It was so well thought in such a way that the curriculum revolves around three main elements. As we can see from there, is universal but inclusive. Okay, and also reflective. That is very, very interesting to see there. So I opened up this session for any questions from the participants, maybe the students who want to ask questions or anybody. Please take the opportunity to ask Dr. Zakiah. Well, Dr. Zakiah is actually the head of department. Yeah, we missed to mention that in the beginning. So therefore, this is how the department has worked together to produce a very good structured curriculum. All right, I can see maybe any question. If not, then I will ask Dr. Zakiah. You mentioned about interdisciplinary just now. There are elements of interdisciplinary. I just wonder how the interdisciplinary happens, the multidisciplinary. Do the environmental science students work together with other students from different programs?
At the moment, we incorporate the things because we have the two different programs. One is more on the science and technology, and another one is on the environmental management. On the management part is more towards on the social science approaches and so on. So we try to incorporate in terms of that. And our recent reviewed curriculum, we open for a free elective for 6 hours, so that student free and has the option to maybe take an elective courses from engineering, from food tech and so on, depending on their interest to develop their career later on. And maybe I can share some of the program that incorporate on the gist of environmental study with other elements like our program also, our department also offering one joint program, international joint program with the ZKNU, in which the module is actually a combination from our department with FRSB. So it is actually starting to evolve, starting to be more open, and of course, in terms of the discipline, different disciplines or diverse discipline, the things like, for example, certain subject being offered on the technology base, we have expert in engineering, we have expert in biodiversity, so it already embedded into the course content. And sometimes we also invite the lecturer from other department, other faculty to give some input during the lecture.
Right. Okay. Any more questions from the audience? Feel free to ask her. Maybe one more from me. One of the course that I've seen just now is on men and environment. Is it men and environment?
Yes,
Is
true.
it project based, or is it a capstone design based, or how is it conducted? This is compulsory course, right, for all the environmental science students?
Yes, men and environment is actually a theory-based 3+0 subject. But during the teaching delivery and also how the lecturer conducted their classes is depending. It can be in the case study or project-based approach and so on. We didn't have any restriction in terms of the delivery techniques by the lecturer. And some of the lecturer who are teaching this course bringing their student to the outdoor classes to interpret their knowledge in the theory of man and sustainability into the real situation. I hope that answer you, Prof.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we in engineering, we also have a kind of project base, which is more of a structured integrated design project, which should be including sustainability into the equation as well. So perhaps both faculties can work together, because we can see there are similarities in terms of the stressing, emphasize on sustainability from both faculties. So maybe we can work together maybe later on to develop a more structured activities for our students, both from both faculties. Okay, any more question? Audience, anything you want to ask? Okay, no? Don't forget to, all participants, please don't forget to fill up your attendance and participants in the survey link provided by Dr. Lokman. I'm still waiting for any other question before we end the session. No, so thank you very much, Dr. Zakiah. We really appreciate your sharing, because it's going to be a university effort, at least at our level, to boost up the adoption of SDGs.
Sorry, Dr. Aliani.
Yeah.
I was trying to chip in, tapi tak perasan my mic was mute.
Oh, okay, Dr. Zaki, sila.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Zakiah. Thank you very much. Interesting sharing. I just nak tanya, is there a plan for ataupun the flexibility in the curriculum for in the future? Do you see that there is a need to have a subject that cross disciplines and cross faculties? Because I think this is the way to go forward. When we start to have engagement and iteration of multi parties in problem solving. So is there an effort towards that? I think that would be good to look at. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zaki. Very interesting. Actually, the idea on looking at how we can collaborate between one faculty to another faculty is there. Like, for example, we have a environmental planning studio class in which this course is more towards a project base, and certain case study was given to the student to come up with the environmental management plan, to come up with the blueprint and so on. And I think it is cannot be standalone. It should be incorporated with the human ecology faculty. It should be incorporated with the design-based school like FRSD and also engineering. And at the moment, based on the recent review that we made, we only open for elective courses, 6 elective courses. But perhaps later on, we can propose to Kate or academic to see in terms of the more diverse or more better approach in preparing our talent or our student to be professional, and of course, whenever they do the decision-making process in the environmental field, they need to take into considerations on the other fields like engineering and so on. So by merging or by collaborates or embed those things, like perhaps we can come up with a team teaching. So 7 weeks from this faculty, another 7 weeks is from our part, so that we can produce a more resilience, more future-proof of students. But at the moment, our structure is like that. Seems like other programs in the university, we offer at least six elective courses for them to choose from other faculties and other departments. But it is a very forward thinking, Dr. Zaki, and I think I agree with you. We can come up with the ideas or the proposal on this kind of approach in our curriculum design.
Thank you, Dr. Zakiah.
Right, thank you. So it is a forward thinking, forward ideas. So perhaps we can make this reality comes through. We are working together within departments at the faculty, and perhaps we can extend the interdisciplinary working together with other faculties as well. So I think, is there any more question before we close? Any more? Going 1, 2, 3. No more. Okay. Right. It has been a very good session, I think, with the sharing from Prof. Aduwati and Dr. Zakiah just now. It is our role, all of us, to support the Malaysian higher education system, especially at our own university, in increasing knowledge and skills of the campus community. That means all of us, staff and students, having access to good practices shared, like has been shared by Prof. Aduwati and Dr. Zakiah just now, to be developed in our institution as well as other institutions in Malaysia, and in strengthening our ability to cooperate in this issue, both locally and national level. And students, you should take the opportunity for you to be actively involved in sustainable activities prepared for you in the campus, whether it is in the classroom or whether at the college or anywhere, or even within the community, so that you will bring the experience even after you graduated from UPM, okay, or any other university if you are from other universities. Okay, with that, we are at the end of the session, but before we go, turn on your videos and we will take photos. All right, we have 3 pages here. Dr. Lukman will take photos of us, right, Dr. Lukman?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Everyone, can you please turn on your camera?
Right, please turn on your camera. We have a few more coming. Oh, so many are so shy. So many of you didn't turn on the camera. Okay, so maybe, all right, now we can see. Now we can see people. All right, it's coming. Dr. Lukman, whenever you are ready, just give us a cue.
Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
You got all the frame?
Now, next page. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Keep turning on your video because you won't know which frame you are in.
Yeah.
And just smile.
On Lokman's screen. We may be in the 3rd frame.
Oh,
Okay,
maybe.
last page. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you all.
All right,
all.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, the speakers, Prof. Adu, Dr. Zakiah, all participants, lecturers, students, colleagues, and MYSUN team, admin, and so on. So thank you very much. See you perhaps in the next seminars that we are going to have. Keep in touch with the website and also Facebook. See you in the future.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.